Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing well. Now, ever since the launch of XDefiant, I've seen a lot of people complain that the movement system is clunky and unresponsive, and overall, they're just not enjoying the movement system and don't know how people are moving so fast on the map. Well, today we're going to change that. I'm going to show you guys the settings that are probably causing your games to feel clunky, and we're going to go into how we can fix that, and as well, I'll be showing you guys some tips and tricks that I use to move around the map like a speed demon. Let's get into it. Okay then, now that we're in game in the practice range, you can see I have this little keyboard overlay for you guys to see all my key presses and such. So that'll help you guys out to see the timing that I'm pressing these, but in terms of what is causing some of this clunkiness for you guys that you may be experiencing, the primary culprit here is going to be your crouch behavior setting. If you have this on hold, something very interesting happens in that obviously, you'll be able to slide on the ground, no problem. But if you jump and try to hold crouch to land in a slide in midair, you're just going to do this weird crouch thing when you land. You're not going to slide at all. And so to get around that on hold, you've got to wait until you hit the ground and then hit crouch to initiate a slide. Now, obviously, if you mess up that timing, what's going to happen is you're just going to crouch in place and you're going to look like an idiot. You're not going to be moving at all. And so to fix this, what we're going to do is we're going to go to settings, gameplay, and UI, and we're going to change our crouch behavior to toggle. And so what this is going to achieve now is that now, when I jump and I hit crouch in midair to start crouching, I'm going to land in a slide. And I can just chain these together super easily. I don't have to time anything. I just make sure that I press the button after I jump and before I land. And then I'm going to land in a slide consistently. And I can just chain these together. I can turn around. Just like so. And I can just do whatever I want to do. And so there is the first fix for movement. And then as well, some other movement related settings that I would recommend you have on would be sprint interrupt reload. I would recommend you have this off almost always, as this way you can run around and stuff while reloading if you need to either keep up the pace on a rotate or you need to run away from a gunfight, but you also need to reload. This is super important to have on. Personally, now I keep my sprint behavior on hold, although you could run tap. I mean, both, it's just personal preference. They're kind of going to work the same way. If you hold down the sprint key on tap, it's going to work like hold, but you don't have to necessarily. And as well, I turn auto sprint on, as I feel that that's just a little bit easier than remembering to hit sprint all the time. And I just turn the auto sprint threshold down a bunch as well. All these same principles that I'm going to be going over also apply to controller, which I might show later, but unfortunately, I have scuffed up my thumb a little bit, so it's kind of hard to play controller right now, and I don't have a ton of experience with controller. So for the most part, this is just going to be mouse and keyboard focused, but everything I'm talking about, of course, is going to also apply. And so now that we've covered getting a consistent slide every time, we'll cover some other types of movements and interactions and how you can chain this stuff all together. And so obviously, if you jump out of your slide and crouch again in the air, you're able to chain your slides together like so. To a point, you will eventually end up losing momentum and then you won't get a full slide. But as well, if we hold W to go forward and start sprinting, and as well hold a D or A key to start strafing, you're able to initiate sideways slides. So instead of sliding forward, we're going to slide to the side. And as well, you can chain those together to slide back and forth, like so. As well, when you jump, you're able to control your direction in midair. So if we slide in one direction, we can, pump fake, do a little wiggle, or we can just change direction completely. And so this sort of stuff is very useful. Say there's an enemy around this corner or something. If I want to come at this and hit it with a sideways slide like this, and then I can just jump and strafe back into the corner instead of just doing, a grounded strafe, which is a bit slower, or, something like this. A jump peak also works kind of similarly. You just get a little bit more speed, and then you can also just commit to the chow in the corner, like so. You know, you can also land in a slide to get some extra stuff like that, or you can, you know, say you go too far around this corner, so you chow like this, you can just, once you see like, oh, maybe you see 2 guys around here, you're like, I don't want to take this fight, you come and you just hit a slide, and then you can just start sliding back into the corner instead of seeing them, you know, maybe getting a hard landing or something where you can't sprint for like half a second, and you'll just be able to get into the corner a little bit faster. As well, when you jump, obviously, you have this air strafing, and so you can chain that with bunny hopping. And as well, out of a slide, obviously, you can bunny hop. You do end up losing quite a bit of momentum for bunny hopping, so I wouldn't recommend doing it all the time, but, you know, in certain scenarios, it is a good mix-up instead of just hitting a slide all the time, as obviously during a slide you can't shoot. So if you, like, do something like so, you're able to ADS after the second bunny hop and get to shooting a little bit faster rather than a slide situation. And as well, obviously, you can do these kind of RAS strafe style movements where you're going WASD, WASD, or WDSA. You get a little kind of half circle turn in the air, which I find can really throw people's aims off versus just spamming AD strafe. You kind of vary up your speed a little bit, and it makes you a little bit of a harder target to hit. And so there you guys can kind of see what some different movement combinations look like, and as well as implementing the sideways slide and the air strafing kind of looks like. And so yeah, in terms of just advanced movement stuff that you can do, you've got bunny hops, obviously. You can change your direction in the air with air strafing by moving your camera. You can chain your slides together like so, and you can land into bunny hops. And so as well here, and just a little bit with controller. I'm not super good on controllers, so forgive me. This is a little scuffed, but same stuff all applies on controller. You can do the same thing, just crouch in the air. If you have hold on, and you'll land in a slide that you can immediately cancel with a jump. Just in case anyone is curious, I run the skill thumbed brawler flipped layout, so that's why you see me jumping with the trigger, which I find works good because obviously I don't have paddles on the back of my controller. I just have a regular schmegular standard DualSense controller, and so, you know, jumping around like this, can land, do some B hops, and then as well to do the sideways slide, you kind of have to hold your stick. You have to find, and I find that auto sprint helps a lot with this because you can see it visually instead of having to spam your sprint stick or whatever to figure out if you can do it. But you have to find the angle at which it still is reading a sprint input. So obviously if I input full left or full right, I'm just going to get this strafing animation. But then if I roll up the side here, you can see that eventually auto sprint is going to kick in, and so we know that this is the minimum angle I need to hold to get a sideways sprint. And so we'll try to do that. Oof. Oh, there, you kind of get it. Again, okay, there we go. Don't have the most experience on controller, and my thumb's kind of busted up, so do forgive me for being a little scuffed, but yeah, there you go. You kind of see the deal there. You just kind of hold to the side and a little bit forward. I would say like a 15 degrees maybe, something like that. It's very slight. You'll get a feel for it if you just try it out yourself in game. And so there you guys have it. That's the solution to your movement woes. Just make sure go in your settings and have that crouching behavior on hold. And you're going to have crispy slides on demand, and your movement's going to feel very responsive. And as well, make sure you go and implement those techniques I showed you into game, and you guys will be moving like a speed demon in no time. But yeah, if you guys found the guide helpful, I would appreciate you leaving a like on the video, and as well consider subscribing to the channel, because I'm really close now to finally getting partnered on YouTube, which has been a milestone I've been looking forward to hitting for a while. So if you guys could help me in hitting that goal, that would be awesome. But I'm going to go enjoy this double XP weekend while I still can. I hope you guys do too as well. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.